Doing it for the love, so now I'm doing what I want.
I did it for the love of the shit.
Doing it for the love, so now I'm doing what I want.
I did it for the love of the shit.
Hip hop and rap, yeah, that's where my heart's at. Doing it for the love. Doing it for the love, so now I'm doing what I want.
Man, it is Sunday night, and you know what that means. We bring the heat right here on the Heat Racing Sports Network. This is Half Court Heat, NBA talk with a Sixer state of mind. I'm Tony Jigsaw Cotillo, joined always by Andre Johnson and Al Griffin. And man, do we have a ton of topics to get into. We could have went live last night for a post game, but we just kept it all in a little bit to save it for this game, for our typical Sunday show. And let's just get right into this, because we're going to talk about a bunch of things, how we feel the 76ers definitely need some help on the perimeter, on the defensive side of the ball. We need another scorer. Okay, hello, Kyle Lowry. I will Uber Danny Green's ass out of here tomorrow. Okay, not a problem. Okay, we're going to talk about, I know Andre love it. I'm sorry, Andre. Had to say it, just saying. Okay, we're going to talk a little big man at the end, because we do talk a whole evolution of NBA here. And there were some interesting things about Patrick Ewing that kind of came to my mind. I want to talk about a little bit. And we'll end on some Watch the Wizards talk, because they are one of the hottest teams in the NBA right now. And we want to figure out why. But let's get right into this. You know, the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I understand there's always different kinds of games. There's schedule losses. There's losses when maybe the effort isn't there. You have injuries. But I'll tell you, if any game signified why you need another piece to this puzzle, it was this game right here. You got Joel dropping 40 plus, Ben dropping 20 plus. Tobias doesn't play, which we know why, because of the knee. Nobody stepped up. Andre, we told him this before. Seth Curry and Danny Green technically being forced into starter roles. If Seth Curry, I think, Al, you might have said it on Twitter, that if Seth Curry, or it might have been Vance, I'm not sure, said, if he's not hitting the shot, he gives you nothing. Like, literally, absolutely nothing. And this is scary. I'm concerned. Andre, I'm very concerned going forward, because we need to fix this, and we need to fix it soon.
So I'm concerned too. And the reason why I'm concerned is that there are issues that we can fix, that we can control. And then there's issues that are just completely out of our control. Obviously, an injury is just out of our control, right? So let's start with the bench first. My number one concern is the bench. Doc has to fix the bench right from the gate, because think about it. Shake Milton has solidified as being the leader of the second unit. He solidified that. We're completely out of whack when Shake Milton is in it. He's completely out of whack when Shake Milton is not in the game. Our bench is just out of control. It doesn't look like we're a cohesive unit, and it doesn't look like we flow with the game. Like the bench has a role. The two roles, the main two roles they have, is to either maintain a lead or change up some type of pace to get in to somehow make the opposing team play your game again. But they haven't been able to do either one. So two things are the thing that's very clear to me is Shake, when he went out, and I believe it was around February 22nd or something like that. When he went out, February 9th or whatever, it's already the 28th. But when he went out, we clearly seen the difference. And which leads me to the second concern. The second and third leading scorer of the team in Tobias Harris, when he goes out, it seems like we're kind of out of whack, and we're not a team that can seem like they can get over the hump. We mentioned this in the first and second and third episode of Half Court Heat. We said, listen, for the team to be successful, everybody has to go into the season healthy. Everybody. We don't have the luxury of a LeBron James, the luxury of a Antetokounmpo or somebody like that. We just don't have it. That guy is tearing it up. The last 4 or 5 games, Antetokounmpo been scoring 30-something plus points a game. But our Sixers, we have our Joel Embiid. We have our Hawk. That's what we need. So we're good. The last concern I have is that You cannot lose to a 13-20 team. The Cleveland Cavaliers. You can't lose. We didn't capitalize on that win when, of course, you got the Nets losing.
Yeah,
The Nets lost on the end. We should have. That's just a team we beat.
could
That's
have
a
been
team
up
we
one
should
and a
beat
half.
with our second unit. That's a team we should be flat out with our second unit. The only saving grace that I think is that these are issues that can be fixed if Doc knows that they can be fixed. He just has to figure it out. He has to figure it out. So we got Tobias out. We got Joel questionable for tomorrow's game. And now we got to really see how we step up against Indiana because we got a bigger test in Utah right after that. So let's try to figure it out. Try to go 2-0 these last two games before we go into the All-Star break. And then from there, you're going to have a little time to kind of gel again. So my concerns are real, legitimate, but they're also concerns that can be fixed. So I'm not too concerned as far as the season because we'll see what they're going to do and how healthy can they be when the playoffs start. That's what I got.
No, it's a good point because again, we always talk about this isn't a sprint; it's a marathon, right? The NBA season is it's basically a triathlon. Okay, it really is. We talked about 3 parts of the season, and we're coming up on a halfway point because it is coming up to All-Star time, and we're still. The thing that's bothering me is I feel like we're still unsettled as far as our rotations. And I know a lot of that has to do with this is Doc's first year. He still doesn't know the tendencies 100% of all these players. We haven't been 100% healthy, right? There's a lot of things that go into that, right? But Al, I will say, and I think you'll agree with this, we know this is not right now as February 28th on a Sunday night, 2 weeks from now, this will not be the same team. Whether it's a couple pieces, one piece, I don't know, but I definitely see some changes coming out, and I know we'll get into Kyle Lowry later, but this team right now, Al, what has been frustrating you so far?
Well, I agree. There's no way we can go in the battle in the playoffs with this exact team. You gotta if it's a small change, it's a really, really small change, something's going to happen. You can't. First of all, it's more. Something's going to happen. Yep. It's not going to stay back. So that's one. All right, so now let's get into last night's game. First of all, I was a little annoyed. I didn't snap. I didn't go off. I wasn't like, how could that happen and want to rip somebody's face off? But I was a little annoyed because of the things that I saw that just is inexcusable. So I'm going to go down quick 4, and that's going to tell you the whole game. It's not even certain things. It's the things that happen in a row. So you cannot, I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's, I don't even know who's the worst team anymore in basketball, but it's not Washington. So we'll get into that later. 12 missed free throws are unacceptable. You cannot beat anybody and miss 12 free throws. That's what happened last night. We got out-rebounded. We never get out-rebounded. When do we ever get out-rebounded? And then points in the paint. Just tell me that JoJo and Ben weren't driving enough and Joe wasn't posting up enough because we got outscored 62-42 in the paint. That's what? That JoJo leads the whole NBA in scoring in the paint. So how has that happened last night? That means he was taking a lot of jump shots. He was making them, but he was taking a lot of jump shots, and a lot of other people was taking jump shots, and they weren't driving to the hoop enough. 62-42? That's unacceptable. Now we got every shooter. I'm talking about Mike Scott. I'm talking about Curry. I'm talking about all Korkmaz. Everybody that's a shooter was 10 for 41. Yeah. Who we beating with that? 10 for 41 from and that's not the 3-point line. That's regular shots. That's you can't have that. So right then and there you go. That's the game. And then who you play. So imagine if we played Utah and shot like that, or missed 12 free throws, or got out rebounded.
Right.
We would got smoked and embarrassed at home last night. And then it was a home loss on top of that. That really pissed me off because I take pride in winning at home. I take pride
You
of
should.
having the best record in the NBA at home.
That's our house. You can't
Right.
come in our house. And even with the bad play, and that's what's a little frustrating because even with the bad play, we still had a chance to win the game.
Yeah.
And the crazy part is, it was one of those games where you go, all right, I'll take the win.
Damn.
Yeah. Yo,
Yo, hold on. Let me say one thing.
these comments are crazy.
Allen looks like a complete boob with that hair like that. He doesn't want to shape it up. He doesn't want to do anything. He just looks like an idiot. And then they had a nerve to compare the Afro to Doc's Afro. And Doc's Afro is all time. Stop it. Don't ever compare
No, it's
Doc's
classic.
Afro to somebody else.
Doc's Afro is classic, man.
Thank
Listen,
you.
that's our crib. That would have been one of those. What I was saying was that would have been one of our wins where you could be like, all right, I'll take the W, but it was
Right.
nasty. It was
Right.
nasty, right?
Right.
But once again, it's a lost opportunity, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about as far as the record. You listen. You don't want to drop the 2 and 3. Period.
Right.
You got Milwaukee winning today. You got the Brooklyn Nets on a tear right now.
Right.
And think about it. They're on a tear right now and still not in first place.
Right.
So
Right.
so that's what I mean. You can't. This is a tight race, and I don't care what nobody say. Oh, it's the first half of the season. Oh, we still got more time to go. Listen, no, we don't. This is a sense of urgency right now. We have to win now, and we have to go in it like every game is urgent. Every game is necessary because you have these guys breathing down your neck, and you don't have room for you have no room for failure, and you can't leave nothing to chance.
And Milwaukee's one back now after winning today. One
Yeah,
back. They were just 5 back.
They shouldn't have won today. You got Antetokounmpo with 2 moves. He
walked on that last one, by the way.
Only
He
2
walked. Did you see the game?
Yeah, he walked. He caught the Broad Street line to the hole. He used one of the passes that they got to swipe in the turnstile. And Paul George was looking at the ref like, yo, dog, he walked.
Didn't even contest the shot, though. Can somebody contest the shot? Just let him dunk? Well, everybody looking like
weak.
Yo, Charles Oakley and Barkley would have sent him into the 3rd row. It
Even
probably would have
tough-
gave him a concussion.
Even wannabe tough man Morris started to jump and then backed off and let him dunk. Like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah,
This
that's
is the game right there. If he scores that, you know it was over. So make him earn the free throws, and whatever happened off of that happened. You don't just let him dunk a thunder dunk on top of that. And then he did a little, shimmy and all. Like, whoa, really?
Yo,
Yeah.
listen, Morris is my guy too, but it looked real bad in slow motion when he backed away like this.
That's going to be prime footage at the next team meeting. You let me tell you, somebody's chopping that up for sure.
Yeah,
100%. Our buddy Vinny checking in, and this is what I want to talk about next. And Andre will just stay on you. You're hot right now. You talk about Curry. Yeah, listen, 1 for 13.
Yeah.
1 for 13. That's a problem.
He was part of that 10 for 41, but
right? Yeah,
I don't know if I call him a liability though.
Well, again, I still think I will consistently say this. He's a fringe starter at best, and you're forcing him into a role I don't think he belongs in. For me, listen, I know it's overtime, but 38, almost 39 minutes is too much Seth Curry. 39 minutes is too much Seth Curry, man.
Okay.
Listen, Seth Curry can come in.
Where are you going though? That's the question.
No.
Again,
that's a great question. Where you going? But here's what I was saying. At the beginning of the season, what did we talk about? I said, you know what? I'm riding with Steph Curry. I'm riding with Seth. Excuse me, not Steph. We know what that other guy can do.
Yeah.
But I'm riding with Seth Curry because of the potential threat. Because everybody knows his pedigree, right? But 1 for 13. First of all, that's unacceptable. And second of all, if you're going to give me 1 for 13, you might as well have Korkmaz starting. At least he gives you size, and he's running off the pick with the size. So you might as well start Court, or you might as well start Maxey. You're not giving me. There's no separation if Seth starts compared to the other 2 or 3 guys.
The only plus I seen out of it, which at least because he's doing what I want him to do, is he kept shooting. Because before he would just stop shooting and then he would pass it to somebody else. So the only thing you want him to keep shooting in that situation, because sometimes the shooters shoot out of it. So that's the only plus. But besides that, 1 for 13 is, come on, dude, drop to the hoop. Drop to the hoop. I tell people that all the time. I tell my grandson that. I tell my grandson playing in the Little League, if you're not hitting your J, drop to the hoop. I don't understand why you can up it. You know they're going to go for the up it because you're still Curry and just go right around them.
Especially, and you shoot 80% for the free throw line anyway. Free points, man. It's free money. I listen, man. I don't get it. Speaking of, we got. Hold on. I almost forgot about this. What the hell was Danny Green doing on that last drive? What the hell was that? What was that? Listen, here's the problem, Al. How many times all year we said, "What the hell is Danny Green doing?"
Yeah.
Right. One too many.
That is the one thing I screamed about at that in the game. I was like, and I almost forgot. I don't like that last play call with Embiid because he came out to the top of the key and he made it more difficult. How about get a low post position and then I give you the ball and then you make a move, not a fadeaway from almost the 3-point line. I don't like that on the last second. So I don't care. You can shoot the shot, but don't make it harder for yourself because you want the ball so bad, which sometimes he does. He wants the ball so badly, he goes out further and makes it harder to get into position to do what he wants to do. Actually, I prefer them to drive to the hoop because they weren't going to do anything but foul him anyway. And then when he made the 2 free throws, game would have been over. So all of that combined. But Danny Green was just like, dude, what in the hell was that?
So Jenna checks in, our resident Boston fan. We love her. Wait, the Sixers are the best in the East, I thought.
And you're right, Jenna.
Last time I checked, they still are.
Right now, here's going to be interesting because we got the scoreboard watch right now. So, half court heat will probably end around the same time as the Boston and Washington game will end. Right now, Boston's up 10. So we will see where that goes. And it'll be a good segue to the end of the show because I want to talk about the Washington Wizards anyway. And listen, I hope they come back and win, but
Bradley Beal for 3.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Dan checking in says JoJo failing to draw the foul on final shot. Just square up and shoot. All these players fall as they shoot, especially on threes. Can't say it like European soccer flopping.
Is that Danny Green?
I think he fell because he was fading. And actually, I don't like when a big man fades. You don't need to fade when you're a big man. Go straight up like you're supposed to. Not this. You're too big to be fading.
Yeah, wait.
Jenna says Al doesn't show in April when Celtics beat the Sixers. She already got that. Listen,
it's okay. I'm gonna let you go today, Jenna. But if they lose again tonight.
Hey, listen, you got 30 days. April's in 30 days, bro. You got to figure it out. You got 1 month before April.
So Vinny says Curry doesn't defend. If he's not making shots, what does he give you? And Adam also wants to know, what do you guys think the Sixers will get at the trade deadline and who will they get rid of? We're going to get into that very, very shortly. Dan says Maxey quick enough to guard perimeter. Forgive me if mentioned poor perimeter D. Completely agree. Completely 100%.
Listen.
Right, but I think right now, I think the problem is, and we've talked about this the last couple of weeks, is whether Maxey hitting a rookie wall or really
trust
kind
him
of
right
falling
now.
out of favor. Right, he's not getting the clock that he was. Not sure why. There's a lot of things that add up to that. Maybe he still needs to learn more. I mean, listen, this is the first time. I'll be honest with you, the first time that we started to show up, and I kind of am like, listen, I'm not even in jigsaw mode. I'm kind of like, I'm good. We'll be okay. And Andre straight up was like, I'm concerned, really concerned. So this is a difference. This is kind of a flip of, a mindset here. But I'll tell you, listen, I guess if it's 2 weeks, and let's go right into this. Who can we add? Who we get rid of? But if they don't make any major changes on this team, And I listen, Major to me is a Bradley Beal or a Kyle Lowry. I definitely don't think it's going to be Beal because, like you said out off air, if Watts is going 7-3, why the hell do they want to trade Bradley Beal, right? If you're winning and they're young guys like Ryu is stepping up, if your young guys are
trash,
up, right, and filling voids, not going to trade them, right? So you have to focus on guys. And I honestly get right into it. Kyle Lowry to me, the more I watch that game in Cleveland, the more I say he's the perfect piece to this team right now. You guys, I always delegate to you guys because I respect both of your knowledge more than mine when it comes to the X's and O's. So I want to ask this straight up. Andre, where does Kyle Lowry play? How is the lineup structured if Kyle Lowry comes to his team because he's a point guard? Right? So what do you if we trade for Kyle Lowry tomorrow? What does it signify to you? What does it signal to you to say what's their lineup going to look like?
So obviously you're talking about an NBA champion, an all-star, just a tough guy. Period. The guy is he lives and breathes and eats basketball. Kyle Lowry to me is a player that we go straight to the finals.
Yes.
We go straight to the finals because here's what you get. Here's what you get. You're getting a bred point guard that's tough, that can defend the perimeter. And first of all, you're solving that problem because we haven't defended the perimeter all season. That's number one. And number two, you're getting a guy who knows how to win and knows how to win pretty. He knows how to win ugly. He knows how to win like last night. That's a game we win hands down with Kyle Lowry. Hands down. It's not even a question if JoJo's getting the ball at the end of the game and almost wins the game, and it was ugly all game. So Kyle Lowry coming to the Sixers, which I think is kind of interesting that our boy Isaiah Joe is going to the G League. So I think obviously Morey is moving some pieces around and trying to figure out right before the deadline. We only have, I think, about 12 or 13 days left before the deadline. He has to make a splash, and the splash got to be a marquee name, and it has to be a tough veteran, a guy. I don't think Oladipo doesn't do it for us.
No, I never did. I wasn't never a fan of him.
I love the kid in Chicago. I just don't think that's the toughness that we need now. That's a scoring that we possibly can need, but that we can use. But it's not the toughness that we need to get us over the edge to take us straight to the finals. Kyle Lowry here in Philly will shut it down. I'm telling you, the kid is he's that good.
Right.
He's that good.
I agree.
I'm with you. Andre, I completely agree. Everything you said is spot on in the sense of the way my psyche is thinking is Kyle Lowry knows how to win. You said it. He's a proven leader. Kyle Lowry is the kind of player that you don't worry about how the lineup looks. You make room for Kyle Lowry. You work around Kyle Lowry, and most important, Al, he comes home. Literally, you think about it, it is the perfect Cinderella story that he goes out, plays in Toronto, becomes a brand ambassador for the Toronto Raptors. He wins a ring, and now he's 30. What's he, 34? I think he's 34. Mm-hmm. And he gets to come home, play in his hometown, and hopefully win another ring and go out in the sunset like a Peyton Manning or a Tom Brady. I don't think write the storybook any better than that. No,
you can't. But you think about so many things he could bring to the team. He's going to help. Let's look at that last game. He's going to tell JoJo, no, I don't want you there. Repost. Mm-hmm. Something that Ben's not all the way there yet. Well, Ben would say, yo, you should, and JoJo may not listen to him. But if Lowry said, no, repost down there, he's going to do that. Those type of things is going to change. Imagine the dog that he could bring. You already got Sam Cassell with Ben. Imagine now Larry and Ben's ear. Post him up. Those type of things. He's that type of dog that he's going to take over on certain issues, certain times. He'd be like, look, we need a shot here. Come down. You know, Larry, you come down right off the 3-point line and jay you like, You won't even think like, damn, did Lowry just do that? And then all of a sudden he got 25 and you didn't even Lowry. You're like, damn, how did Lowry score 25? It's just all the intangibles. He's going to bring so much juice to this team, toughness, everything that you need to win a championship. I mean, everything. He's going to help the young kids. He's going to help Curry because he's going to get Curry in better position. He'll set picks his damn self for Curry to come off and hit a J. I mean, he's going to bring something to everybody. JoJo, they're very good friends already. JoJo, that's just going to give him even more juice. He's like, dude, let's go. As soon as you get off the plane, let's go. Let's get in the gym. Everything that one player could bring to a team that's going to put them over that hump to go to the championship, he will bring to this team. Everything. And then as my wife with the cakes, just the extra icing is silly, baby. It's Philly.
I love it.
His mom and dad, grandma, cousins, everybody come to the game, and we'll have fans there, by the way. Matter of fact, we're starting next week. We're going to be probably having to have people, it's probably going to be after the All-Star break, but I'm hearing rumors that it's probably going to be about 5,000 in a couple of weeks. So by June playoff time, who knows how many is going to be in there. So, stop. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Now, can it happen? That's the question. And I don't think it's on us. I think it's on if Toronto would let him go. Because imagine we had to play Toronto and they gave up Kyle Lowry to us.
We can't even imagine that because if Kyle's here, it's not even the same team.
Right.
And it brings up a great point, Al. Like it makes me think. When I was listening to you, I was just thinking. The question is, when was the last time any NBA champion did not have a vocal leader on their team?
Yeah.
That's the common denominator of every NBA champion in the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't care what nobody say. Kawhi Leonard wasn't the vocal the vocal guy on that team when they won the championship.
He was just there to play.
The Lakers, when we all know who was the vocal guy that like you said, get down there and repost. Right. Don't just give up that weird little finger roll.
Right.
Like don't be a Patrick Ewing and finger roll when you should have dunked it.
Right.
Everybody remember that old situation. Mm-hmm. Somebody got to be on the court telling these guys what to do because
Ben's not there yet. He's getting there, but he's not there because he hasn't had enough experience to be there.
And it's tough. It's going to be tough for him to get there if it's too much chum. Everybody's everybody's friend and everybody's everybody's buddy. And listen, we come from the old school where it's like, yo, you got to get it done. You got to come in. You got to put in the work. I think they're real strategic at showing. Some of our players shooting after the game or shooting before the game, hours before. And to me, all that's fine and good. But if it's not translating on the court, it means nothing to me. It means nothing if you're not executing on the court. It's that simple to me. But Kyle brings that intangible, like you mentioned. He brings that intangible, like, listen, we're going to win this and we're going to win it tonight. And if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, I'm gonna have to say a few things to you.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. And you're going to have to be all right with it. You're going to have to be all right with it on top of that. And as a matter of fact, I could see him saying that first day he come in, look, I'm going to chew you out one game, but we're going to be good. We're going to be all right. But if you do something like you land it off the rim and it rolls out and you could have dunked that, I'm going to say, dude, dunk that. And you're going to have to I'm going to have to dog it, which was little coincidence. That was a little bit of what Jimmy was saying. I have to say certain things and not everybody can take it. So we'll see if a dog comes in because they're in, Jimmy and Lowry are that type, those are dogs. So, but Lowry might be a little bit softer dog, but Jimmy's that going to bark on you. Can you handle it?
So think about what we've talked about over the last couple of weeks. One guy in particular that's come up 2 weeks in a row is a guy named Chris Paul. And we've talked about how Chris Paul has turned the Phoenix Suns around because of exactly what you guys are talking about.
Right.
You know, getting in Dario
100%.
Saric here, getting in DeAndre Ayton's here, telling Devin Booker where to line up, telling
Right.
Mikal Bridges how to set a screen. And
Right.
this is what Kyle Lowry will do. That's why I
Yes.
think this is the most important piece that we can get right now. Now, Vinny checks in and says the Raptors have played better without Lowry, though. Me personally, I think that's just a coincidence because that's a very young team right now in Toronto. They're still learning how to play together. Pascal Siakam didn't have a good year last year, right? Pascal, that was the first year being the superstar with no Kawhi.
So and a lot of money that he got paid, and the expectation was a little too high for him. And
Exactly. And we talked about Nick Nurse being a hell of a coach. So it takes Nick Nurse a little time, just like we're talking about Doc, to evolve, to understand what his players' tendencies are. And I think that's what's going on in Toronto. And little by little, they're turning around. Without Kyle, it's giving people other opportunities to play. It's giving Van Fleet a job to step up and show that he could do more. So I think it's actually good for Toronto that Kyle wasn't playing because it showed that they can do more with less, which will only help them want to move on from Kyle right now in the last year of a contract. Well, so go ahead, what do you think?
Well, I'll get in that. Well, first, I'm going to get into that, but I got to shout out my man, Kyle. That's my man, Kyle from Mitchell and Ness. Shout out, Kyle. You see I'm rocking. Oh, it's on this side. I see you rocking. Hey, thank you, brother. Thank you for tuning in, too. I appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
But to Vinny, you got to be careful, Tony. You got to be careful with this because, first of all, I hear what Vinny is saying, how they're playing a little better without Kyle, but they're 17-17, and they're playing like a 500 team. And to me, that's playing without a leader. Like when you're 6-4 in the last 10, and you're a 500 team overall at 17-17. That's just showing to me that you're a good team, but you could be a better team with a leader. And that's the only thing I'm gonna say about Toronto as far as that, because I don't think they're playing better without Kyle Lowry.
That's a little ridiculous. I don't know about that, but I think Kyle Lowry would be Bryce Harper Grand Slam for the Sixers. Yeah, but that's what that would be for us. Grand Slam.
I get Bryce Harper because you still got Van Vliet. You still got a good team. Yeah. I just don't think but I think the team that you have is a 500 team, and it's showing. It looks good. It looks good on the surface, but when you have a leader like Kyle Lowry, you're just a better team. Yeah. I don't care at any level.
I still just don't feel that they're just going to give them to us. Like, why would they help us out? What is it in for them to just let them go because they're not going to re-sign them next year? That's why. It got to be more to it than that. That you're just going to say, let's trade them to the Sixers and make the Sixers go to the chip. Like, what? Why would you do that? I'd be better off sending them to the West than being here on the side. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be that easy. I would love it, but I just don't think it's that easy.
All right, so Kyle, I'm gonna answer my man Kyle's question. So, but I'm gonna give him a few dates to see if he can figure this one out. I'm gonna go 82, 83, and I'm gonna go 2000, 2001, and now I'm gonna go 2020, 2021. Hey, a little trivia for you.
Right.
You got the Lakers and the Sixers. 2000, 2001, Lakers and the Sixers. 2020, 2021, 20 years later. You got to go Lakers and the Sixers.
Dre's calling it now.
I'm calling Lakers and the Sixers.
Let's
you
go.
better hope AD better be healthy, because if not,
if there's no AD, they got no shot.
No. I'm sorry. I'm not. Listen, I'm a realist, and I understand that Brooklyn is very good. I'm a realist. But this is a wild season. It's a bubble season. It's a COVID season. You got all kinds of things going on. You got the commissioner coming in telling people at the last second they can't play. You got all kinds of weird things going on. And if this is not, if any season that the playing field is a little more leveler, it's this season.
I mean, you could even go back to the Kawhi in Toronto. Who would have ever said that Thompson and KD would have went out in that series? They weren't going to win that series if both of them didn't go down. So boom, right then and there, that tells you everything. Anything can happen. You know, they all. When has Kyrie played 60 games in one season? In an 82-game season?
I don't wish no, but here's the thing.
I get that. 100%.
They call Kobe. You're hilarious. Listen, I don't wish anybody injury at all, because here's the thing. I think it takes away from the game when you're not playing against the best players. That's what we want to see in the NBA. We want to see the best players playing against the best players.
Right.
It's weird to me when somebody we got a better chance because so and so is out, a star is out. Listen, that's a given. We see that. If LeBron goes out, the Lakers can forget it. Lakers aren't winning the chip if Bron's out. We know that. We see how they struggle when AD is out. We see that the only team that's becoming an anomaly, shameless plug, the only team that's becoming an anomaly is the Brooklyn Nets. That's going on a tear without KD. That's the only team. But you got Josh Harris playing at a crazy level, which this guy came out of nowhere to me, to be honest. I never thought this dude can shoot like he's shooting.
You talking about Joe Harris? Joe Harris,
but he's shooting out of his mind right now.
Yeah, he is.
And I'm like, but it's also, and you got James Harden playing defense in addition. So if that's not crazy to you, I don't know what is. James Harden is leading his team in assists. Like, are you kidding me? Like, when is that ever happened? So the point I'm making is that if there's any season that I think that the Sixers can win a championship, is this season, fully healthy, because we got to go 8, 9, and possibly about 8, 9 deep on the bench.
Yeah, he's made the eighth most.
If we can't go 8 or 9 deep on the bench, then we're in trouble. If one of if Tobias is out, or JoJo is out, or somebody's out, then we're in trouble. But we have to be fully healthy.
Yeah,
fully healthy. We are a tough team to beat. Fully healthy.
I wanted him to, Vinny, but I knew we weren't going to be able to afford him. I would have loved to have Joe Harris on this team, but I knew he was going to get big money for what he was. He was a great. I would say great. He was a pretty good 3-point shooter, but when you got Kyrie and James and KD on the floor, you're going to get open shots all day. I was just taking a quick look at the stats. He's made the 8 most 3-pointers this season. So that tells you everything you need to know. He's open all day. Him and who's the kid that used to play for us?
Landry Shamet.
No, not him. The other one, the French kid.
Oh, TLC?
TLC's getting a lot of open shots. He's actually making them, too. I see a lot of times he's making a couple open shots.
TLC is playing that role that our guy he's playing a role that I forget the guy's name on the Lakers, but he's playing a role that Barkley can't stand. That guy, I forget his name.
I still don't understand why Sham. I still expected a lot more from him when he left us. I thought he was going to be like our next JJ. Like that kid was on fire when he was with us, and then when he went to LA, he was just okay, and now he's just okay at the Nets. I expected him to be like lights out, and he hasn't got to that point yet. I don't know why. I don't know whether it's a confidence thing or what.
That's because we were used to seeing him night in and night out here, and when he had a flash in the pan. And Brett Brown and everybody else was like, oh, it's Landry Shamet. When he hits a 3-pointer, I just always thought he was an average player. I never thought he was anything fancy or fast or whatever. But we watched him, and we're the home team. So we love our guys. So we watched him night in and night out, and we saw a little development. And then when he left, it was like, oh, okay, well, it's Landry Shamet. Bye. No offense. Like, get out of here.
Well, I think too. I think he's lost a little bit. You know, he goes out there and goes to a team in the Clips, and he's playing with Paul George and Kawhi, and then he's coming here, in Brooklyn, and he's got surrounded by KD and Harden and Kyrie. Like, I think he's just lost, and he's trying to find his way. I think if you actually took Shamet out and put him on another team, like, I don't know, maybe Sacramento, maybe, a lower tier kind of team, I think he would fit in a lot better. I really do. I think he would play better. I do. But listen, Kyle Lowry, I know a lot of people were saying in the comments, why would they want to move on from Kyle Lowry? Well, Kyle Lowry's in the last year of his deal. He's 35 years old.
Mhm.
I quite honestly don't think he's playing much longer. I quite honestly think if he came here and we won a chip, he's out. Like, I honestly, he'd make $34 million this year. Kyle Lowry don't need no money, right? He doesn't need any money. And if he's right, well, here's the thing. Eventually your body tells you when it's time to go. Now, he's playing at a high level right now, but he also might decide to go out and say, you know what? I don't want to get to a point where I can't play. I feel good right now. Let me go enjoy life. He's played for over 10 years. And right? And he's had a really, really good career, man. First round pick out of Villanova. 14 years in the league. NBA champion, all-star. You name it, man. Here's a funny. You guys will like this. So I started today. I decided to change it up a little bit, and on Sundays, I just want we're going to talk sports on Sunday mornings instead of fantasy. And we start just talking about prime players that over the last 20, 25 years, and then it got into coaches, and people kept bringing up Jay Wright. And when you think about Jay Wright, he literally, we all go back, right? We talk about, we understand the Dean Smiths and the Roy Williams, Bobby Cremins, Nolan Richardson, Gene Katie. We go on and on and on. The coaches, obviously Coach K, right? But he needs to be in that conversation.
Absolutely.
Right? And
Absolutely.
I don't think he is right now. And I think people are completely discounting the fact that these Villanova players are coming into the league. And we all talk about the Calipari pedigree from Kentucky. Well, what about the Villanova pedigree?
I was watching the game the other day, and somebody, I think it was either ESPN or TN. No, I think it was the ESPN game, and he did start naming. I think he named off like 10 people in the NBA that's all doing their thing right now out of Villanova. So I get it. Trust me. And I started thinking, I'm like, wow, this person, that person, wow, yeah, we do have a lot of people.
And again, like, Kyle Lowry is an easy one to point to. When you see a kid like Jalen Brunson balling in Dallas, like he is right now, right? You can open up your eyes and be like, damn, Jay Wright is special, man. Jay Wright is special. And unbelievable, man. Unbelievable.
You know what I love about Jay Wright? You can drive through Villanova at any time and see him just randomly on a golf cart, driving down Route 30 on a golf cart. Like, you can see him filming, and I think you can see him filming a commercial for a local auto dealer on Route 3 on Westchester Pike. Like, he's
Normal
such
guy.
a Philly guy.
Yeah.
He's just a Philly guy, and the product. And it reminds me of all the people that, rest in peace, Coach John Chaney had like flowing in the NBA, and you'd be like, oh, he played in the NBA. Oh, he played for Coach Chaney. Oh, he played in the NBA. He played for Coach Chaney. And we have to really give these guys props. Like, I think we always remember we went through maybe a 25-year stretch with the whole Dean Smith, and then we went through another stretch with Roy Williams. Then we went through Coach K stretch with, and there's those three coaches that we always look to for the draft, right? They were like the pipeline to the NBA.
What's coming out of there this year? That type of thing.
Yep.
Right, but then if you're looking back in history and you're looking at the Boeheims of the world and the Nolan Richardsons of the world, and those Arkansas teams were crazy. Those Tartanian teams were crazy. The UNLV teams. I mean, I can go on and on about those coaches, but who do we always resort back to? The Coach K's and the Roy Williams
all the time.
But we got to highlight our guys in the Big Five, man, because they are producing beasts in the NBA. And we come with a level of toughness
every season.
Every season, we come with a level of toughness out of this Philly area that is just it's not even unmatched. You almost can look at a guy and be like, oh, he's from Philly, just the way he plays, because we have that toughness, that swag, that thing about us that when we're on the court, we're on the court. You're gonna feel us. Pause, but you get it.
So Jamar. So before I get to Jamar, Dan Second says again, great names: Brunson, Hart. You can't leave out Josh Hart, Bay, Pascal, Brunson, right? So Jamar goes, Coach K, Zion, Tatum, Ingram, name 3 better right now. Listen,
Here we go.
listen, you know what? I'm so sick of Duke. I don't literally. I can't stand Coach K. Okay, so Jamar, please, let's talk about somebody. Ever since they beat my boys, the Running Revs at UNLV, I've hated Coach K. Okay, I did, and no disrespect. I'm not knocking his game, man. The Duke and coach, obviously, I just don't like him. I just don't like him. Okay, so I'm not even giving him any kind of props on this show right now. I can talk about anybody. I'll talk about Bob Higgins before I talk about Coach K. Okay,
So you two also got to say Duke does the superstars, but he doesn't have 5, 6, 7 at one time. He'll have one here, one here, one here, one here, not 5, 6, 7, 8. Let Leitner stuff. But that's what I feel better that every draft you want to pick a Villanova player because you know what he's going to do when he gets to the pros.
Oh,
I can't even remember, but wasn't it? Oh, look at that score. 81-80 there, Jenna. You still tuned in? You still tuned in, Jenna? But every draft when that kid Bay came out last year, everybody was talking about that kid. What's the college guy for basketball that was talking about him on the draft? Who was the college guy on ESPN?
You mean Mel Kiper?
No, the college guy for basketball. I forget his name on top of my head, but he was talking about him before everybody was talking about him and being a top 10 pick. So they always are going to have somebody, and they're talking about some kid right now that's on the team. They did lose today, but they'll be all right. They're going to be. I don't hesitate to say that they're going to be in the top. Yeah, Baylor. I don't hesitate to even say they're going to be in the top 16, Sweet 16 again this year. Every year, Jay is doing his thing, and Villanova, he has more than put them on the map as far as college basketball. He doesn't even have to. He doesn't have to even fight for it anymore. Everybody knows that Villanova is coming to play every year, and they're going to be a top 10 school.
And it's a great point because Dan Jackson says Nova not one and done players either. And the reason why that's going to kind of piggyback on what I was going to say to end the coach, Coach Roy talk. But think about it. When Brian Westbrook, it's a different sport, right? But when Brian Westbrook came in the league, what was the biggest knock? He didn't play in Division I school, right? So these are like Villanova. Yes, we're not UNC, we're not Kansas. I get it, right? So you have to fight past that stereotype already. And he's not only has he fought past it, he's won. Okay, he's absolutely won. He's taken players. Kyle Lowry's drafted 24th. We're not talking about a first-round pick, and he's become a 14-year seasoned NBA champion. Jalen Brunson wasn't drafted in a top 3, and right now he's holding his own in Dallas with Luka Doncic on that squad.
And
so people have to look at that too.
I hear that Jay. I think I heard on a Jay interview. He says to people when he's recruiting you, "I do not want you to leave in 1 year. If you're going to leave in 1 year, I don't want you to sign here because I'm going to teach you. And when you go to the NBA, you're going to stay in the NBA." So how can you beat that? If your coach is telling you, "I'm going to give you the tools to be in the NBA, and I don't want you to just jump right to it," how can you beat that? He's telling you right from the jump, "I don't want you to come if you're just going to play here 1 year." And you don't see it. You never see one of his players jump to. Now, you seen back in the day like TT and all those type of players jump right, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah, that was. Now, speaking of coaches, as we do our closing segment here, let's roll right into the Georgetown alum, Mr. Patrick Ewing. And the reason why I don't bring up Big Pat is because they brought out a thing in New York. They're going to honor him, with his jersey and things of that nature this year. But it made me think about how, in my opinion, how underappreciated Patrick Ewing is. Yep. And he's never talked about in nauseum like all the other big guys are. And nobody realizes, well, we do, but most people don't realize that he played in a Jordan era where he was How many rings would Pat Ewing probably have if there's no Michael Jordan? And you think about that. How many rings would Reggie Miller have if there's no Michael Jordan? How many rings would Karl Malone have if there was no Michael Jordan? Right, but what
Pat Riley even went to Miami if Michael Jordan didn't stop him.
Exactly. And what Patrick Ewing was able to do. I mean, Al, you talked about the little fadeaway with Joel Embiid. Man, that turnaround Jay by Big Pat down was unstoppable.
Money.
It was right. It was money, right, Andre? I mean, why do you think? And I understand, like, I know Dan's already checking this as Hakeem with better. Listen, I'm not disagreeing. Hakeem dreams on another level.
Right.
But what I'm saying is Patrick Ewing was a lot better than people give him credit for. And I think he gets buried, on that map because he played in that era where it was the Jordan era. But the big men in that era were really good, and Patrick Ewing was probably one of the best, wasn't he, Andre?
I think Pat was beyond it. Here's the thing why he was the best. First of all, we all know that Pat Ewing, Olympic gold medalist, top 50 players ever to play the game. Well, he's always in the top 50 in the NBA when they do the list. But more importantly, what people don't talk about is he was the best Jamaican. He was the best Jamaican basketball player to ever play in the NBA. So imagine how he wasn't just an icon here as an NBA player. He inspired the whole island to play basketball, a cricket and soccer driven sport. And he just made it popular in Jamaica. Now, there has been, prior to Pat Ewing, there has been a lot of Jamaican basketball players prior to Pat Ewing. But Pat Ewing he is the mold. He's the model of of excellence of a Jamaican basketball player. So shout out to Pat Ewing for that. The other thing, like you mentioned, just think about the teammates that he had over the years too. This guy, he made sure you were tough. He had the Oakleys of the world. I mean, I think he even played with my guy who won a championship with Jordan for a second before he was with New York before he went to Chicago. Was Oakley, I believe.
Charles Oakley.
Yeah.
Oakley, right? Or was vice versa. He was Chicago first.
Right.
Then he went to New York. But Pat Ewing is the man. I mean, Pat Ewing, he did the one finger roll, and then everybody all of a sudden tried to get rid of him because he should have dunked the ball that would have won him the game. But that's the memory that's left. But you forget about his legacy. You can't forget about Pat's legacy because it's already solidified. Pat Ewing is just one of the greatest players to play in the NBA. Period. One of the greatest centers to play in the NBA. Period.
And no, you're absolutely right. And one of the
most go on and on about his accolades and all that, but the reality of it is how many players come through that not only can inspire the NBA players when he's playing with them, but inspired an entire island. Like Giannis is doing it with Greece. Pat Ewing did it with Jamaica. You got guys doing it for Canada. Like this, and that was the vision of David Stern back in the day, to make this sport more
global. Absolutely,
right.
Absolutely.
So we look at it as Pat Ewing the player. I'm looking at Pat Ewing as someone who moved the culture forward, and that to me gets more accolades than any stat that he could ever put up.
I mean, I just put out his stat, 21-10. If he was doing 21-10 now, he would be a top 10 player. Like you can't just throw 21-10 for a career and act like it's nothing. 21-10. He was a double machine every night. That's all you wanted out of your center. What more could you ask for out of your center back then?
You can't.
21-7. I mean, you can't say, "Oh man, he didn't give me enough tonight." What are you talking about? I scored 21-10. He'd be 21-10. He'd be probably imagine the money 21-10 we making Patrick Ewing right now. Man, he did it for a whole career.
And he did.
That's all I need to say on it.
and the other thing, the underrated thing about Patrick Ewing is my man didn't miss games.
Nah.
My man didn't miss games, man.
With bad knees.
But
Yes.
exactly. Ice them up and get back on the court, man.
Mhm.
You know,
Them
it
huge
was-
knee pads.
Oh, yep. Yeah, I mean, now we one thing that they did Pat dirty with is the shoe deal, man. Like I want a big Ewing's guy, man. You know what I mean? Like the big Ewing on the bottom of the shoe. I could have did him a little better with that. I give him that. But as a baller, now listen, man. Patrick Ewing, Vinny, I agree. To me, Patrick Ewing is the New York Knicks. Nobody symbolizes the New York Knicks more than Patrick Ewing. And Dan, you're right. Those teams in New York were some fun teams to watch, and they literally were the Detroit Bad Boys of the late 90s, right? I mean, that's what they were. When you had guys like Xavier McDaniel and Anthony Mason, Charles Smith, just lynching people as they came down. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. They were going for the jugular. Even John Starks had a little dog in him, right? I mean, you think about it, right?
He dunked on Jordan and their forward back in the day, who got like 25 nephews in the league now.
That was back then when I wanted Jordan to lose. I wanted Jordan to lose so bad, and they were so close to beating them, and they couldn't do it. They couldn't get over the hump.
They couldn't get past them. But when they went to the finals, they had a finals appearance in '94. They couldn't get past.
I was wondering what year that was. What year that was? '94 when they went to the finals.
Yeah, but the
it wasn't '98.
No, the last finals they were in was '99. So they haven't been to the finals in 21 years. So the Knicks have just been.
Oh, I'm looking at '89.
But the '94 team is the team with Starks and all them. Like that '94 team was beast.
Yeah,
it was.
I mean, they were running through the league in '94 because they were tough. They were tough, and nobody was really like.
Nobody wanted none of that smoke. Nobody wanted that smoke. You know what's going to happen if you drove to the lane. You already knew what was going to happen. So you ain't had no real interest in doing it. And if you did do it, you might as well get ready to fight. If you get up and have something to say, then you might as well get ready to fight because that's how it was back then.
Yeah, and we wasn't giving up. In the Sixers in '94 wasn't giving up nothing. We had Manute Bol and them guys in '94. Like Manute Bol wasn't doing. Like
I was watching an old NBA.
Like it's Manute Bol. Like no, stop. Manute was butter from three though.
Yeah, the side right for the side. Like what?
The fans used to go crazy when you used to make those.
They did. Yeah, they shoot it. Shoot it. Yeah. Even though we knew you were gonna brick it, shoot it. We just want to see you shoot it. Crazy.
He was 7'6", man. Manute Bol was 7'6".
Launching them, and they went right in.
They lost to Dream and Claude.
Is that his son? Is Bol his son?
Yeah.
Yep.
So 94 they did. So 94 they lost to Houston. They couldn't get past.
That was the Rudy Tomjanovich era when Jordan retired, right?
Yeah,
that's the only reason why
Rudy won back to back.
Then they should have went. Houston went back to back, and then
Jordan came back.
But then my guy went out there and couldn't win nothing with him. Didn't Barkley go out there?
Yeah. They couldn't. I don't even think they got to. Did they even get to the Western Conference Finals when he went there? I don't think so.
No.
That was when Dream, Clyde, and Barkley was on the same team, right?
But they didn't go because Barkley only went to the finals with Phoenix.
Yeah.
And Michael had to send him home too.
Yeah. And I wanted my boy to win a chip too.
Oof.
I wanted Barkley to win that chip.
We all
I was mad that he didn't win that.
Dan, I love you, but get Mike Jaminski off our screen, bro.
No G-Man love, man. Come on, man. No G-Man love.
Now Ron Anderson was the man. Ron Anderson,
I like Ron Anderson. I met him a couple times. He's a good guy too.
He was number 20. He was solid.
Yep.
Ron Anderson was solid. That backcourt of Hawkins and Dawkins was nothing to play with though.
Whoa.
It was nothing.
Hawkins and Dawkins. Remember those? That's way back, man.
Was the Hammer on that team? Mr. Armand Gilliam? Was the Hammer on that team?
Oh, you mean
He doesn't
the
deserve any
90s
nicknames. He doesn't deserve a nickname except for Hammerhead.
Hey, listen, Armand Gilliam. Look it up, y'all. Look it up, y'all. Remember, Armand Gilliam had that.
Armand Gilliam.
He had the Gumby cut, bro.
He had that cut.
Gumby.
Yeah, man.
The Gumby.
Armand Gilliam.
He had the Gumby cut, bro.
Oh God. I can't give a player like that the nickname, man. Barton, Barton couldn't stand him. He couldn't wait to get rid of that guy.
But you know what, man? Let's give Barkley a little love, because I'm gonna tell you why I give Barkley a little love. Now I know he got
love him. That was one of my favorite players back in the day.
I know he got issues with like generational players and stuff like that, but we got to give him love about one thing, one of many things. But the one thing I'm going to point out is that guy couldn't stand half his teammates. He told them.
Yeah.
He's like, listen, you're a bum, but I'm still here. But I gotta be here and play. So I mean, I
cannot find a jersey because his jersey would be up there. I love Barkley when he went out when he was playing. All his whole career, absolute beast. He was unstoppable at his size. In the post, you was not stopping him. He would go to the left, he'll back you down, he'll dunk on you, and he had that nasty dog in you that you needed back then. He would be an absolute beast in this game right now. Imagine him playing right now with his attitude.
93 year, man. If he was ever going to win a chip, it was going to be with that Phoenix team in 93.
Yeah.
And and John Paxson just sealed the deal, man. They couldn't get past Jordan. I mean, that was the year for him to win. I mean, think of that Phoenix team. My God.
Yeah,
with Kevin Johnson. Hey, was Richard Dumas on that team?
Yeah, yes.
Richard Dumas.
Man.
What's the name? What is that guy's name?
Tom Chambers?
No, Tom Chambers. Was Tom Chambers coming off the bench still?
I think he was. I think I do. I think he was coming off the bench.
Guy's name? Richard Dumas was a player, but he couldn't lay off the drugs.
Yeah, he had a problem.
About somebody else that I can't remember his name that played on that team too. Who was that?
They had Dan Marley.
Marley, KJ. KJ was nice back then. KJ was
real nice. Yeah, they had the dunk contest dude on it, Cedric Ceballos.
That's what I'm thinking about him.
They had a squad, man. But KJ was the Chris Paula back in the day.
Yes, he was.
KJ was
I like that.
Nice,
That's good,
very underrated, KJ. KJ was very underrated. And he didn't get his props until Barkley got there. When Barkley got there and they were on TV every week, and they started to win, and I think they had the best record in the NBA that season. That's when everybody, damn, this guy KJ is pretty good, because they wasn't getting the pub out there. It wasn't that good, but KJ was very nice.
Yeah, Tom Chambers was on that team, Dan. He played 73
games
on that team. Yes, sir. Okay. He averaged 24 minutes a game and 12.2 points per game.
Wow.
Yep. So he was on Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge was on that team. He averaged 12. Oliver Miller, man.
Oliver Miller. You never say in shape, but he was a good player at Arkansas. Nobody could stop him at Arkansas, but he couldn't control his weight.
Mark West, the ageless veteran.
Mark West. Wow.
Jared Mustaf, Frank Johnson.
Yeah, Frank Johnson.
Oh, yeah, I remember Frank Johnson. Old Frank Johnson.
Frank Johnson was, I think, you believe it or not, he was the guard. He was the backup guard.
Yes.
Kurt Rambis even had a cup of coffee with that team.
Did he? He was on that team? Well, I know he got no clock. 5
games. He got 8 minutes.
I knew it.
Kurt Rambis. You said Kurt Rambis?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think he was about 58 years old when he was.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know who this other guy, Nigeli Knight. That name sound familiar? I don't even know who that is.
I don't know who that is.
Was that before we had G Leagues?
Yeah, I think it was. It was before we had G Leagues.
you know, KJ averaged 18 and 9 for his career. Not bad.
Solid player.
18 and 9.
Hey Dan, don't worry, man. I wouldn't have known either if I didn't look it up, bro. Seriously. So listen, nobody's getting a card for their Tom Chambers knowledge tonight. I'm just calling it out there.
Yeah, I didn't think he was on that team. What was he, the sixth man? He was sixth man on the team?
I'm glad we're still even talking about Tom Chambers.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, why are we so?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh man, Vinny says KJ was great for the injury. Listen,
Yeah.
this whole, which is great. I love these conversations. Started with a guy, in Patrick Ewing being underappreciated. Well, KJ's the same way. Just as a guard, I think he's being underappreciated. Dominic checking in for you. What's up, Dominic? Are you concerned after yesterday's loss? Listen, we opened up. I know you missed it if you go back and watch on replay, but I will tell you as we're closing up, we did say that we are concerned. That we do need to get another piece here. Would you trade Thibault or no? 100%. I would drive him to the airport. For
the right piece. For the right piece. Right. Say that.
And here's why. Here's why. And Andre said it. This is your year, man. This is your year. If you're going to win the chip, in my opinion, the window is wide open for this year. So, in my opinion, Thibault shouldn't hold you back. Maxey shouldn't hold you back. And honestly, Milton shouldn't hold you back. Nobody should hold you back. Okay, in my opinion, nobody. Listen. Your corner piece is Ben, Joel, and Tobias. Trading Tobias wouldn't help. The whole point is we need 4 guys, and you trade one of those young guys in order to win a ring. That's what you're doing. I mean, and Dominic, I agree. You're saying Thibault will be important defensively. You're at 100% agree. But what I will say about Mr. Thibault is he's so undisciplined out there that there's times where he can foul out in 10 minutes because he still doesn't, right?
Well, it was one play. It was within like 30 seconds. He had 2 fouls. I was like, Thibault, what are you doing? Like, dude, we cannot afford you to do something like that in the playoffs. Right. That is unacceptable because you're putting somebody in a penalty, or you're gaining 2 fouls and we need you for the second half. You can't be aggressive enough if you have too many fouls in the first half. So many things activate that. He's got to work on his discipline, know when to do that, when not to do it. It's not worth it in the first half. In the second half, we need you to stay aggressive. So you got to have low fouls to stay aggressive. If you got 4 fouls, you got 5 fouls, how can you stay aggressive? You can't. You're just scared the rest of the game to even touch anybody. So he's got to get more discipline with that. That's going to come with age. But I just noticed that the other game, and I was like, come on. And he had to check right out. I think he was only in 3 minutes before that happened. And then he had to sit out the rest of the whole first half. Like, certain things like that. But I will say, Jenna, you're down 6 points right now. I'm just saying. And it's 3 minutes. And I haven't seen her check in a while, so she might have checked off.
It's like the Jenna alert. That's hilarious.
It is. Jenna's got her own updates. She's got her own updates on the show. Don says, "Are Green and Curry assets for trade?" I would say Green is.
Beginning of the
Green
year,
is because it's salary dump.
Yeah, in the beginning of the year, I'd have said no. Right now, yes.
Everybody's on the table.
Right now, yes.
Yep.
Wow.
Everybody's on the table.
Well, don't say everybody.
Well, no, except for
you might. People will be like, "Wow." Tony said JoJo's on the table. You gotta watch what you say. People start going with it.
If somebody wants to throw a ridiculous trade out there for Ben again, I would think about it. But
here you go again.
I'm just saying, if it was something ridiculous,
like what? Give me.
I don't even know, man. I honestly say, like somebody said, I'll give you. This is so far-fetched.
LeBron.
No, LeBron. No. Sorry. I don't want LeBron.
Green and Curry is definitely.
What's that?
Green and Curry, assets for trade. You give up Green and Curry for Kyle and something else or whatever is a no-brainer, and Morey pulls the trigger easy.
Well, you know he's working on that. And in closing, what I will say, wow, these coming late. Dominic, sorry if we don't get to these because the YouTube comments are slow a little bit. There are still people who think Ben is going to be. I don't think that now. I don't think that because he's turned that corner.
Yeah.
I think he's turned that corner. He's consistently been driving and finishing and demanding the ball. So
And it's 3 games
100%.
straight.
He's doing everything that people complained about that he wasn't doing.
Mhm.
And when the next time he's going to score over 20, well, it's been a lot of times he's scored over 20, and the other time that he didn't, he had 18. So he's doing everything. There's no reason for anybody to do any complaining right now. Right now, is no reason for anybody to complain about what Ben is doing. That losing that game had nothing to do with Ben or Joe. That had a lot of other reasons, but losing last night had nothing to do with him.
Now he says, so see, there you go. Booker and Chris Paul, then I'll trade for. Listen, if they call me,
I'll help. I might help Ben Pack.
What time you want Ben there? What time you want Ben there? I'll make sure he's there. You know what I mean? No doubt.
Oh my God, with JoJo and Booker.
Ooh,
oh my God. And just CP running the point.
Yeah, I was saying. It got to be both of them.
Yeah,
it would have to be both. It would have to be both.
Because I wouldn't even want one or the other.
No. You got to have
Booker,
both, man.
Booker without CP wouldn't work because you still need a point guard. And now we have no point guard. So what would you do with Booker and nobody to run the offense and get people in the right positions? Oh my God, imagine CP and that beat is at the top of the tee trying to get the ball. You're like, no, get your ass down there and let me get to you there. I'm like, oh my God, CP on this team?
It would be crazy, man. It would be crazy.
Talk about shit. Talk about shit. And then Booker can light anybody up for 40 any night.
It's crazy, man.
You getting into the big men now, Tony?
What'd you say?
Getting into the big men?
Yeah.
The big man segment.
Oh well, you know what? What happened was, we kind of started talking about that. It was talking about Ewing, and then we kind of went on a tangent about all these other teams. So this is what we'll do because I want to stick to this hour and 15. So what we'll do is next week, what we're going to do is we're going to work up a segment for best big man in a certain time period. Might be maybe 25 years or something, maybe 20 years.
That sounds good. Any further back would be too far.
Right, and we'll rank them, and we'll give our rankings, and we'll bring the audience in, and see what they have as their rankings. We'll promote it and see what we get, man. I think it'll be fun. But one thing I want to ask you guys before we finish up is I will say this, my own opinion, by the time we do Half Court Heat next Sunday, Kyle Lowry will be a 76er. That's my prediction. I think he is here this week. I think the trade happened. I don't know what it's going to be, but I keep saying this, man. Where there's smoke, there's fire, and it's just it's purring right now. It's purring, and that phone is being worked. And you know they're coming up with scenarios, and you know right now after watching that Cleveland game, Daryl Morey does not want to lose. Daryl Morey was out, then came back. He doesn't want the same reputation he had in Houston for not being able to win. I'm telling you right now, that trade's happening this week. I called it. Andre, what do you think?
If that trade,
and that's too soon. It's too soon, Tone. The trade deadline is the 25th.
No, I'm going to answer the question.
Go ahead.
I don't think the trade happens this week because we're too close to All-Star game. And Daryl Morey is a guy who likes to make a splash, right? So he's going to make a splash real quiet. He's real smooth. He's a chess player. You're not going to know this week because we're only rocking with only 2 games before the All-Star break. Now, I think the trade happens during the All-Star break, and then we hear something after it, right? I think we hear something just right after because you got to keep in mind if we make any trade, we got to give the coaches time to have their game plan and how they're approaching the second half of the season. So the trade happens now this week. Then now you got Morey going, all right, I'm giving y'all news and you go figure it out. Now you go do your job, Doc, and you go do your job, Elton. No, it's not going to happen. I think the trade happens. I just think it happens right after the All-Star game. Because now you're at crunch time, brother. You're at crunch time. You don't
Yeah,
have a
but,
choice.
but what do you want it right now at the All-Star break? So you do have time to figure it out.
No, because you make it. If Daryl Morey came out tomorrow and say we traded for Gala, well, of course I'm going to be like yes, right? Of course I'm going to be like that. But I think Daryl Morey, the way he rocked him, the way he rocks. First of all,
Yeah, we talked about that earlier.
yeah, we talked about that, but that's a great point, Dominic. That's a great point because that gave me hope that there is something in the works. That gave me hope. They didn't just move Isaiah Joe to the G League for no reason. He's been with the team since the beginning of the season. He's not, you know what I'm saying? So, and he was an intricate
What?
part, and he played a great role in a rotation at the beginning of the season.
Yes.
So it's not about, it wasn't him going to the G League. To me, said Daryl is definitely doing something. Yes. Would I mind if I got the news? Absolutely, I wouldn't mind. I want Kyle to be here. I want a player like a Bradley Beal or Kyle Lowry to be here. I get that, but I don't think Morey pulls the trigger this week. I think he pulls it next week after the break. Yeah, does it make sense in that respect, Tony? Of course that makes sense, but I think the way he operates is going to be next week after the All-Star break,
So
where everybody's calmed down, and then he does it. If he does it now, the team is in a frenzy. You got Isaiah in the G League. You got this new guy coming in. You got Elton Brand wondering where his job is and was he a part of it or not. You know, you got a lot of stuff going on, brother.
And Green and Dominic Green would be in that deal. So if a deal was done, Green would not be able to stay here to be all coming off the bench because he would have to be in that deal because of salary. So you ain't got to worry about Green. Green, everybody that's complaining about Green, he would absolutely he would have to be in any deal of a big name player. If it's a small name, then we don't have to deal Green. But if it's a big name, Green's salary would have to be in any deal that we do for any big name. And I think it's going to be a trade deadline. And that's the 25th of March. So I don't think anything is going to be done because I think he's just going to ride it out and see what's going to happen. Now, if something happens with an injury, I was watching it the whole time. I was going to say something. I was going to put it up at the last second, but you did it for me, Jenna. Thank you.
Celtics lose.
That makes me feel so good, Jenna. I don't know about you, but anyway. I think it's just we're going to wait. It's going to be closer towards the trade deadline, maybe the week before or something like that. I don't think it's going to be around this area right now because there's no rush. I still can't believe that Toronto would do it to me. I just don't think that he would give somebody in the East that chance. Me myself, I wouldn't even give. I'm not trading you to a team in the East. I'll trade you to a team in the West, but I'm not trading you to a team in the East. That's just me. But maybe they say, hey, Kyle, you bust a chip. Hey, I'm going to do you a favor and send you home. Maybe just going to do it out of, hey, thank you. I forget the guy's name. That's the general manager. He might say, I love you, man. We want to trade you. Where you want to go? You want to go to Philly? All right, let's make the deal. I'm going to do it for you. Normally, I wouldn't do it, but let me do it for you. He might.
But I hate to say it, but the Celtics are like the Grizzlies of the East. It's like.
That is true, Jenna. That is very true. A lot of people wouldn't come back. I give you credit for that. Even though you bust our stones every chance you get, but
she said Jalen was out though, not concerned. Kemba looks better these past 2 games.
Oh, Jalen didn't play?
Well, here's the thing.
I see that.
That
is a good point.
Kemba lit it up last game too.
Yes, he did. I watched that game too.
Bradley dropped 46 tonight. Oof.
That dude was just sick. That's why I'm saying there's no shot of them trading Bradley Beal right now. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games. You're not trading Bradley Beal and they're 8-2 in their last 10 games.
Right.
There's no shot.
I thought Jenna had a heart attack. Oh man!
Yeah, Brown. What is going on with him? He's too young to be out so many games too. Why?
He got the knee issue, man.
He's got knee issues too.
Yes, he does.
Him and Kemba.
Him and Kemba. That's a problem.
I'm not concerned. See, that's the thing. That's why I keep saying the Sixers are going to the finals. These other teams, there's only one team that we really that
Jimmy's out for knees too today. He didn't play the game tonight for knee issues.
the Brooklyn Nets are the only team that in the East. I'm not concerned about any other team in the East that win in a series. Remember, these playoff games are a whole series. It's going to be so tough for the Sixers.
Look at you. I want us.
Jimmy, you
I
gotta
want
make
us
the
in the first
playoffs.
round. Hold on. Let's say this. You have to get to the playoffs first.
You got to
Jenna.
make the playoffs.
Let's
first.
make the playoffs before
And
you
you
start
think-
talking about who you're going to play in the first round.
Well, the only thing that's helping Jenna is that first of all, her team is under 500.
Right.
They're like the Cardinal O'Hara. They're like Cardinal O'Hara. They're like Bach Tech in Philly. Like they're under 500. If anybody from Bach Tech, shout out. So no offense. But
They're
anyway.
slowly tumbling down.
They're not-
If Miami wins tonight, they're going to be in the 8th spot. They're going to be at number 8 if they lose. If Miami wins tonight, Jenna, do you know that? So you better be careful.
Leave Jenna alone, man. But here's the listen. The Celtics have to. The Celtics should be more concerned about being in that top 8 than anything right now.
Right.
Because after the All-Star break, things rev up. People get serious. They start to get more healthier, and they got to do something. And without a center, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
Which I still think, I can't imagine Danny Ainge sitting there and not doing anything. I can't imagine him. He's going to do something. What he's going to do and how creative he's going to be. He's not trading the top 3, but he's got to get a big man. He's got to. Whatever he's got to give up to get that big man, he's going to have to do, or he knows it's over. They might as well just give up the season.
Yeah, but none of these teams, they're not going to want to without like giving up like a Marcus Smart or somebody. They're not going to want to give up a really good big man for whatever the Celtics have on their bench. Like
the bench players. It's got to be top. What do they still have in the cupboard for picks?
Oh, Danny Ainge.
Did he use them all now? Or you remember had all the high picks? Does he have any of those left?
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
Yeah, and Jenna, I've been hearing Harrison Barnes too, but
Me too.
Barnes, but it doesn't. But Harrison,
What are you going to give
Barnes
up to
doesn't
get
make
him?
your team better. That's the thing. Harrison Barnes doesn't make your team better. Your team is still the same team with Harrison Barnes.
Yeah, but Harrison Barnes is Brown. They're just better, the lesser degree Brown. I don't know what Harrison Barnes is going to do for you. He's not great defensively to help you. Harrison Barnes doesn't do a lot for your team, like you're saying. You need a big man. That's the only thing that's going to help Boston is a big man. They can't get a big man. They're done. They're going to get toasted.
Yeah.
We shall see. It's going to be interesting. We know that. It's definitely going to be interesting. And Jenna, April's going to be interesting as well because I'm telling you, man, with Jenna, she says, please not Horford. You never know. Jenna, that's the name I keep hearing.
I keep hearing that too. I don't know how they would.
Show.
That would have to be very creative to him to figure out because OKC, they won another draft pick, but they won a player too, and they don't have any player to give OKC.
No, they don't. But remember on the last show, I said that Boston was eyeing Al, and Al was eyeing them back because here's the thing. But it would take a 3-team trade for Al to get back to Boston. So another team would have to get involved.
Then a young player could go with Al plus a pick.
But I mean, I hate to say it, but that's one of the best moves.
I'm not scared of Al. JoJo, leave him alive. I'm not caring. I wouldn't care. I'm talking about a real big man. I'm talking about a Drummond. That's what they need. Al isn't really going to help him either because Al ain't banging down there for no boards. He'd stop it. I'm not worried about Al. Yeah, I wish they would get Al because he get ate alive too.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Al. Definitely not worried about Al.
I'm not worrying about Boston either. We don't play them, I think, until around April 6th or something.
Yeah. The 6th. Yeah. And
Well,
Jenna better be on this show on the 6th. I know that.
So on that show, we're gonna slide Andre over. We're gonna put Jenna right underneath Al. Or we're gonna put actually no. I'm gonna
put her underneath me. Put her
and
underneath
then we're
me.
gonna put you, Al and Jenna right next to each other on the bottom, man.
Yeah, there we go.
I got it.
and it's gonna be great because I'm gonna have the game playing on the side because you know that's a TNT game too, right?
Yes.
Woo! So no post game. So we are going to be the post game.
Yeah, that's the TNT game.
There's no post game
That's
for
gonna be fun.
nationally televised games.
That's going to be fun. It's going to be good fun.
Look at you, Jenna,
listen, we went
making
an
our
hour
show
25 for good reason. We got to a lot of good stuff. Went a little 10 minutes past the mark, but that's okay. It's all good fun. Everybody checking in on YouTube, much appreciated as always. Don't forget to hit that subscription button and hit that bell, like we always say. We will have a new show on the network. I will be pumping it up all week for all you handicappers out there and your betting specialists. We have Betting for Breakfast, Mark Drumheller and Dave Glock, which will be on Saturday mornings at 11 a.m.
I know I need the help.
Right, exclusively on the Heat Ratio Sports Network, which is fantastic. Mark and Dave have been doing our thing for a while. I'll tell you what, if you don't know Mark Drumheller, X_Drumheller, and again, I'm biased a little bit because he is a good friend of mine, but if you know a guy who can break down the FCS, man, and teams like Dixie State, let me tell you something. My man's special. He's all in when it comes to. I couldn't even tell you what those people look like, what the uniforms look like. Okay, and this dude's dropping knowledge about game spreads, and I'm like, what? Okay, yeah, I'm like, I just bow to Mark when it comes to that. So Mark and Dave do a tremendous job. So look for them on Saturdays. It'll be their debut show this Saturday, and they'll be having special guests as well. I know Ann Shore, who's been a part as well. She'll be giving out free picks for Heat Ratio Sports. She'll be back on the show Wednesday on the Fantasy Firebox, and they're going to try to get her involved in that as well. So again, for everybody checking in, we much appreciate it. Keep following us. Keep following along. We keep growing every day the right way. I love it. We got a great family going on. Come be a part, man. Just hit the subscription button and be a part. So for myself, Tony Cotillo, Al Griffin, Andre Johnson, Half Court Heat, Heat Ratio Sports, everybody stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll catch you next Sunday.